Hi, I'm Kavana Anderson, and I'm the Youth Education Coordinator at Sarah P. Duke Gardens. Today, I'm going to show you an activity where you can become an artist and a scientist, painting with soil. You may have painted with watercolor paints that look like this before, and our process today will be very similar to painting with watercolors. We'll use paper, a paintbrush, and water. But for our paint, I'm going to show you how to find and collect soil samples to create our own paint. Soil is made of rocks and minerals and things that used to be alive, otherwise known as organic matter. The soil is also full of living things. In 1 teaspoon of healthy soil, there can be more microorganisms than there are people on Earth. Microorganisms are living things that are too small to see without a microscope, things like bacteria and fungi, but there are also a lot of things living in the soil that we can see with our eyes. Things like earthworms, beetles, roly-polies, centipedes, millipedes, and a lot more. So what are many of these organisms doing in the soil? They're making more soil. Many of these organisms are breaking down or digesting the organic matter that's in the soil, a process called decomposing. This process helps to release nutrients back into the soil, where plants can use them. So how can we use soil as paint? Let's first think about what is paint. Paint is made of color pigments mixed evenly or suspended in a liquid. When you spread paint on a surface, the liquid part dries, leaving behind the color pigments. Soils also have color pigments in them. In fact, soil scientists use the color of the soil as well as things like texture, particle size, and the way the particles fit together to learn more about soil. Places to look for different kinds of soil include gravel paths or driveways, garden beds, lawns, the area next to a sidewalk. You can use any small containers to collect your soil samples. Yogurt cups or egg cartons work well. You could also use a plate or a bowl. If you find anything living in the soil, try to avoid collecting them in your samples. Smaller soil particles will spread more evenly, so you can smash them with a hammer or a rock, or if you have a mortar and pestle you're allowed to use, you could use that to turn your soil into small particles. The color of the soil is a clue about the kind of rocks, minerals, and organic matter that make up the soil. If you collected dark brown or black soil, that's a clue that it has a lot of organic matter. Thank you, decomposers. Yellow, orange, or red soils have higher iron content. Once you've gathered all of your supplies, find a comfortable place to start painting. If you are using paper from a journal or sketchbook, I suggest removing the paper from the book so that water doesn't soak through. You can start by dipping your brush into just a little bit of water, then into the soil, and then see what color it makes on the paper. You could start painting an artwork right away, or you could experiment with what colors your samples can make. I start by making a value and color chart with my soil samples. Value is the lightness or darkness of a color, and you can change it by adding water until the value is as light as it can get. If you're looking for ideas of things to paint, it can be something that you see or imagine. You could do an abstract painting or something that you see in the landscape. It can express the way you feel. It can be an experiment. And you can always start over if you don't like the way it's going. Art can also be a way to learn more about something. For example, I saw a lot of roly-polies while I was collecting soil, and drawing can be a way to closely observe something and learn more about it. If you don't have paper or brushes, or if you just want to do some experimentation, you could paint on the surface of a rock. You could even make your own paintbrush out of things you find, like a stick or pine needles. And you just use it in the same way that you would a paintbrush. There's no right or wrong way to do it. I hope you have fun learning about soil science and expressing yourself as an artist at the same time. Remember that your art can be anything you want it to be.